These are the best games to buy for the Nintendo Switch right now. Are you a new Switch owner that is trying to figure out what games you should buy for your new system? Or are you a current owner that is looking for a good game to try out? Today, we're going to go over some of the best games of all time to even hidden gems on the Nintendo eShop. Here is my current buying guide for the Nintendo Switch. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Now, Super Mario 3D World is one of the greatest Marios to date. No, that's not an exaggeration. 3D World allows you to scope across a never-before-seen world in a landscape that you sometimes only experience with their main 3D platform games. 3D World gives you the best of both worlds with the famous side-scrolling adventure with a huge overhaul of 3D additives that make the game feel fresh and enlightening. On top of that, 3D World got the addition of Bowser's Fury, which is also icing on the cake for an already awesome game. Bowser's Fury essentially feels like the build-up to a new 3D platform game given the drop-in and the overall feel of the add-on. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Dive into the world of Alrest, the region that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 covers. The world is manifested by creatures called Titans, where humans choose to live on and in them throughout the world. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is an action-based battle system game where the ultimate goal is to retrieve the legendary blades and get to the Elysium atop the world tree. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Now, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a hack-and-slash Legend of Zelda world game that's based 100 years before the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Within the game, Zelda and Link are tasked with gathering allies across the land of Hyrule to fend off against the evil that is Calamity Ganon, who is attempting to revive himself and destroy the kingdom. Hyrule Warriors is a perfect game to play, especially if you're a fan of hack-and-slash games, where the goal is essentially 1 versus 100. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a solid game to purchase, especially if you're planning to buy another top game on this list that we're going to talk about later on in the video. Next up, we have Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now, Fire Emblem is a turn-based tactical role-playing game which is set on the continent of Fodlan, which is divided between 3 ruling superpowers currently at peace. Across the space of Fodlan, you are tasked with many things such as teaching at a monastery, fighting in top-down to third-person battles, and attempting to help make peace in the world. Next up, we have The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is a remake of the original Link's Awakening, which was first released by Nintendo on the Game Boy in 1993. During the original release, it was a monumental time because Link's Awakening was the first of its kind for a handheld version of Zelda. Later in 1998, Link's Awakening DX was released for the Game Boy Color. Now, if you never played the original, Link's Awakening is an action-adventure game with a top-down perspective. The story is set on Koholint Island, where Link is stranded after his ship is caught up in a storm. Link embarks on a quest to collect the right instruments of the sirens and awaken Koholint's legendary windfish in order to escape the island. I gotta give it to Grezzo because this is a masterful remake and a beautiful looking game that I strongly recommend you guys pick up. Next up, we have Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 is a very successful sequel to the original Splatoon game and is a third-person ink-based shooter. The events of the story mode take place 2 years after the completion of the first game's Octo Valley mode. Cap and Cuttlefish is on vacation, Callie and the Great Zapfish have disappeared, and a character named Mary recruits you, Agent 4, to storm Octo Canyon and search for them. On top of a very fun story mode, Splatoon 2 is widely known for its explosive multiplayer modes. With a wide variety of weapons, modes, maps, and characters that you can take to the online realm, there's so many different things that you can do with all of your friends, and I strongly recommend playing Splatoon 2 now, especially before the release of Splatoon 3. Next up, we have the perfect game for a spooky summer night, and that is Luigi's Mansion 3. Now, Luigi's Mansion is an action-adventure game, and you play as the ever-so-green plumber, Luigi. You must explore a haunted hotel incorporating different themes on each floor and rescue his friends from the ghosts that inhabit it, after the group is tricked into visiting it for vacation by King Boo. While Luigi's Mansion gives you a different feel than most Mario games would, Nintendo turns it up to 10 with the fun puzzles and scary gimmicks, and even adds in co-op so you can be scared with all of your friends as well. Even if you aren't a horror fan, even though this game isn't as close to being scary, this is a fantastic addition to anyone's Nintendo Switch collection. Next up, we have a game that's going to be getting a sequel that is probably one of the most hyped sequels in a while, and that is Hollow Knight, which is a 2D Metroidvania action-adventure game that takes place in Hollow Nest, a fictional ancient kingdom. The player controls an insect-like silent and nameless knight while exploring the underground world. While you attempt to contain darkness that controls the land, you are also met with many decisions along the way, and you must defeat the Hollow Knight once the perfect time comes. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is possibly one of the greatest video games ever developed. It was first released May 19th of 2015, and it was later ported to the Nintendo Switch on October 15th, 2019. The Witcher 3 is an action role-playing game where you control Geralt of Rivia, a monster slayer known as a witch richer. Within the game, many things can be done, such as travel, battle, crafting, and so much more. Words cannot describe how monumental the adventure that this game portrays. So the best way is to experience it yourself and check it out on the Nintendo Switch. Next up, we have Super Mario Maker 2. Now, Super Mario Maker 2 is the ultimate game for all of your side-scroller Mario needs, with all of the traps, power-ups, Koopa Troopas, Goombas, and pretty much everything else you could think of, and much more. Super Mario Maker 2 allows you to create your very own Mario levels on a 2D side-scroller level, in which players create their own custom courses using assets from the various games across the Super Mario franchise and share them online. The Nintendo Switch Online system is also used a lot here, where you can download anyone's level and share your own for your friends to try. They also have a multiplayer mode, which is pretty solid. It's nothing too crazy, but it is pretty fun to play. Now, moving along, we have Monster Hunter Rise. Now, Monster Hunter Rise being one of the most recent success stories added to the Nintendo Switch lineup, Monster Hunter Rise has the player take control of a hunter tasked with slaying or capturing large monsters using a variety of weapons, tools, and environmental features to damage and weaken them while surviving their attacks. Completion of the offered quests provides loot, typically in the form of various monster parts from the monster, which are used to forge new armor and weapons that can be used to take on more powerful monsters, forming the series' notable core loop. Monster Hunter Rise is a beautiful game on the Nintendo Switch, and it plays amazing. I strongly recommend this game, especially if you're looking for a new and unique game to play and grind. Next up, we have one of the games that I've sunk the most time into on my Nintendo Switch, and that is Stardew Valley. Now, Stardew Valley is an open-ended country life RPG. You've inherited your grandfather's old farm plot in Stardew Valley. Armed with hand-me-down tools and a few coins, you set out to begin a new life. The farm plot is initially overrun with boulders, trees, stumps, and weeds, and players must work to clear them out in order to restart the farm, tending to crops and livestock so you can generate a revenue and further expand the farm's buildings and facilities. If you're looking for a super chill game to play, Stardew Valley is that game. Pricing out at $15, it is a super affordable and well-polished game to play. If you're looking for one of the best games to ruin friendships, you have found it. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate follows all previous Super Smash Bros. Games where you plot against up to 3 different people where you are any of various characters with various attacks. Your task is to attack and weaken other players and knock them off of the map. The game is the ultimate crossover where it adds in characters from Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, Minecraft, Sonic, Donkey Kong, and so much more. While Super Smash Bros. Ultimate does have a promising story mode where you're tasked with rescuing all of the other characters from the game in the World of Light, the game is known for its online multiplayer, putting yourself up against other players and hash out your differences the old-fashioned way on different maps and different settings of games. Now we've got the game that you all knew was going to be on this list, and that is Super Mario Odyssey. Follow Nintendo's golden boy Mario in an all-new 3D platform adventure where Mario meets Cappy, who is a ghostly hat-type being who takes control of Mario's famous hat that helps him take control of other creatures, objects, as they journey across various kingdoms to save Princess Peach from his nemesis Bowser, who is planning to forcibly marry her. Super Mario Odyssey adds 3D platform aspects with many instances of its famous 2D platform mini-games that allows fans of both to have fun in one of the most enjoyable Mario games of all time. Now let's talk about one of the most cozy games on this list, and that is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, Animal Crossing is a life simulation game where you control a character who moves to a deserted island after purchasing a getaway package from Tom Nook. Playing the game in a non-linear fashion and developing the island with houses, new landscaping, rivers, trees, and more of your choosing, you can gather and craft items, customize your island, and form it into a community of anthropomorphic animals. Animal Crossing was one of the brightest spots in 2020, releasing at the beginning of the global situation and still seeing massive success as the second most sold game on the Nintendo Switch to date. Now let's talk about one of the most underrated games on this list, and that is Hades. You control Zagreus, the son of Hades, as he attempts to escape from the underworld to reach Mount Olympus. Each run challenges the player through a random series of rooms populated with enemies and rewards. The game features a hack and slash combat system where the player uses the combination of their main weapon attack, dash power, and magic ability. Hades is a quintessential dungeon crawler game that you need to pick up for the Switch. If you're still on the fence, just buy the game. You will not be disappointed. Did you buy a Nintendo Switch Lite because you're anticipating the upcoming Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but you're looking for a Pokemon experience to play right now, and Let's Go Pikachu is not doing it for you? Then just go ahead and pick up Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, Pokemon Sword and Shield drops you into the Galar region, which is the 8th generation of the Pokemon main series game, where it's your decision to decide your main companion and capture new Pokemon along your your journey to becoming the ultimate Pokemon master. While on your journey, you're tasked with facing off against gym leaders, battling wild Pokemon, dealing with Team Yell, defending the region from evil, and discovering the new phenomenon that is Gigantamaxing. Pokemon Sword and Shield does get quite a bit of criticism, but it is a solid Pokemon game, especially if you're waiting for the upcoming Pokemon games. Now this next one is kind of a given, considering you probably already own it, and that is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a kart racing game that follows the characters of the Mario universe. Originally on the Nintendo Wii U as Mario Kart 8, released and effectively Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was made. You get to choose players in the Mario franchise and kart racing battles, collecting a variety of items with the goal of hindering opponents or gain advantages in the race. Effectively since release, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the most successful Nintendo Switch game to date, with 41 million copies sold and climbing. Last but not least, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is the latest and possibly the greatest story in the Legend of Zelda franchise. Starting off with Link 100 years after the Great Calamity, Link finally wakes up to a dismantled world with no memory of the previous life. You are tasked with adventuring across the land of Hyrule to regain your memories, battle enemies, defeating and obtaining power of the divine beasts, with the goal of defeating Calamity Ganon and saving Zelda from the great evil and restoring peace across the land of Hyrule. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, already having a sequel announced, has grown to become one of the most successful Legend of Zelda games of all time, releasing alongside the Nintendo Switch. With so many great options that the Nintendo Switch has, these are the best games that I recommend at this current time. Let me know if you decided to pick up any of the games on this list, and furthermore, enjoy your new Nintendo Switch. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you on the next video.